Hey gun people, let's talk about this Hillary update on what's going on here. Hopefully you can see me here. So Comey came out on Thursday or Friday saying he reopened the investigation into Hillary. And I kind of talked about this before, but now we're getting some more information. And the news media is reporting some different things that are going to confuse most people because they don't understand the differences between the terms that they're using. They're talking about subpoenas and warrants and scope of the investigation and, the field agents versus the supervisors and what an aggressive investigation is versus what a non-aggressive investigation is. So, I made some notes here, and let's talk about, I'm going to go down my little notes here. Comey. Okay, Weiner's computer had over 650,000 emails. Now when they run a search, when you search a computer, and now remember I was an FBI agent, I worked on a task force for computer crimes, I know a little bit about this. I'm not nowhere near the expert I used to be when I was working it every time, and advances have happened. But when you start going into the back, when we review hard drives and we pull that hard drive out, we're looking at the complete hard drive, all data old, overwritten. I mean, there's just so many great tools out there that help us find. And I mean, sometimes we would search a hard drive and it would literally tie up a computer searching for 3 to 4 days. And these were fast computers, and we'd hook this one hard drive up and we'd put in our search parameters and what we were looking for, and it would take 3 days, 24 hours a day running to find every place on that hard drive where it was. And the longer, the bigger the drive, the more keywords, the more we were looking for, the fuller the drive with information versus empty, is the longer it would take. So they said there was over 650,000 emails. Now, when you run a search and you get that many emails, you obviously don't know what's in the emails. But you do what's called a cursory scan, and you just kind of flip through, you're grabbing images, you can do a keyword search on the finds and say Clinton. You can do a keyword search and say find classified. You can say find Benghazi. And it'll run through those emails and go, we found Benghazi mentioned 76,000 times or whatever. So they still need to do a search, but you can figure out pretty quickly once you get this information on this many emails kind of what's in the emails. So of course the left is saying we don't think anything's there and there's no evidence that anything is wrongdoing and this isn't nothing they don't already know. They already know that. Nothing to see here. Disregard this. Hillary's not sick. She's not a drunk. She's not hanging out with sexual predators like Bill Clinton and Huma's husband Weiner. I mean, nothing to see here, folks. Just go out and vote for her. She's a woman. You got to have a woman. So I'm shaking around this phone. It keeps going to different shit on me. Okay, so on these 650,000 emails, the agents found that 1,000 of the emails, or thousands, plural, of emails were from Hillary's private server. So, and I'm going to get into this here in a minute, but I'll explain on why that makes a difference. Okay, so it's going to take weeks for them to review. Of course, it's going to take a long time, a lot of agents. You're going to have to divide the computers. Once you find your searches, normally what we did, instead of working on the original hard drive, we would just mirror the hard drive and we would work off the mirror. So if anything happened, it got damaged, it got hurt, we would always have our best evidence primary right there. And if we had to, we could make another mirror of that. But we didn't want to mess around on the actual computer or the actual hard drive that the information was on in case we corrupt or change something. So we always made a copy, and that was our working copy. Let's see here. Sharp internal disagreements. They're reporting a lot of disagreements on this investigation. Disagreements between the FBI and DOJ. DOJ is the prosecutor, like the DA. FBI is like the cops. The cops want to do the investigation and find the information and get a conviction. The DA wants to play political games and go, well, depending on who it is and how much do I want to charge, and I don't want you working this too hard because you may find something and it may tie my hands and I might have to do something and I don't want to do nothing, so don't do a good investigation. So they've admitted that the whole investigation has kind of been dumbed down and held back from the start. Agents are admitting that. Agents that have left are admitting that. And the second guy in charge admits this. Let's see. DOJ and FBI don't agree. Yes, agents notify the second in command of the FBI, I forgot his name, and about the emails. And so he says, hey, we got emails from a private server of an ongoing investigation. Now, later on I got a note here, so I may cover it again, but when Comey came out and said the investigation was closed, the FBI doesn't technically close investigations. Nobody really closes an investigation. It may go to not being worked, inactive, it's stored. Unless it's been convicted, tried, then no other investigation is being done because you've already got a conviction. That's pretty much what we call a closed, complete case. Now, an agent or an investigator can close out a case and say, I'm done with the investigation, all leads are exhausted, and I'm going to go ahead and close this. But it's not technically closed to where no one else can come back and look at it, review it, or do something else. It's still a case that could be looked into further. And that's kind of what Comey should have said when he talked about this. We're not closing the investigation, we're done working it, we've exhausted enough to where we don't think there's enough there to prosecute, so we're not looking any further. That's what he should have said, but that doesn't sound as good as his BS talk. They notify the second in charge about the emails. Now remember, Huma testified to the FBI and under oath that she didn't have any other servers, she didn't send any other emails, she didn't have any other devices where the emails were hidden, because when they're looking at this investigation, they're looking at it on multiple levels. They're looking at it on one, for criminal, which they're not really looking hard because they don't really want to charge her. What they're really looking for is, where's the information at? Do we have everywhere it's at? Is this still out here? Are our rules, regulations, operations, whatever, are they compromised, and do we need to change what was in place because this was leaked out? So that was more the focus of this. Hey, how bad did she screw us? How bad is this going to hurt us? And what do we need to do for damage control to fix what she did? It was never an issue on whether or not she did anything wrong. It was an issue on how bad can we fix it? Can we cover it up? Is it so crucial? And I mean, she just in a debate the other day, she said we had 4 minutes. There was a 4-minute lag before we could launch a nuke, because when it goes to the nuke, it has to go through the command, the DOJ, the football, the code, and by the time it goes through all these things, once we get launch authority and says, boom, we're launching, it takes about 4 minutes. Now, Hillary went and told the whole damn world that, and now everybody knows that, so now our enemies can go, you know what, we have a 4-minute window. If we can hit them secretly, we know that they cannot nuke in 4 minutes. So if we can hit them hard before that 4 minutes and set up defenses to attack their nukes when they launch, because it's going to take 4 minutes, now they have a better game plan to attack us. That's why information isn't shared about everything. But I digress. So let's see here. The senior investigator argued, they've been arguing about, so here's an issue. So the FBI searched the computer, Weiner's computer, for child porn. Now, when you search something, you need to get a warrant. And there's another way to search is with a subpoena. If I go get a warrant, I have to specify in that warrant what I'm looking for. So when they got this warrant for Weiner's computer, it was like, we want to search this computer owned by Anthony Weiner, who was under his care, custody, control. We had passwords, etc. He claimed it was his. He turned it over. We seized it. Whatever. We want to search this computer for these items: child pornography, communications with minors, any indicia of minor contact, emails, email files, chats, live chats, rooms, credit card uses for child porn. So we're going to put all this in a warrant on what we're searching for. So technically, we can't go in there and search for other crimes, because the warrant is supposed to be specific for these items. And I explain this in my warrant videos, to where we always put we're looking for papers of things, because you can only look where you can find what you're looking for. If I get a warrant and say I'm looking for a 2014 F-150 truck, and that's my warrant, I can only look where a truck could be. I can't look in drawers, I can't look in attics, I can't look behind couches. I can't do anywhere where that Ford could not reasonably be. I can open areas, fields, garages, but that's the extent of my search, because I said I'm only looking for a Ford truck, which is why cops never say we're looking for a Ford truck. I'm looking for a Ford truck. I'm looking for papers that would identify this Ford truck or show ownership of the Ford truck. I'm looking for insurance papers on the Ford. I'm looking for keys that belong to an F-150 truck. I'm looking for any indicia of maintenance work on an F-150. So now I'm looking for sheets of paper, which means a sheet of paper can be anywhere. I can search anywhere. And if I find something, I'm going to be legal because I can lawfully say I was looking for things in the warrant that could have been here. So they're looking on Weiner's computer for child porn. Now they find Clinton emails. So they know there's an investigation. They know it's possibly classified. They know there's another crime. Technically, what they're supposed to do is stop their search and say, hey, we got another crime here. We need to either modify our warrant, do a piggy bank and add on what we're searching for, or we need to do a new warrant with new probable cause and to search this for these new items. So if they got it through a warrant, they should have went back, got a second warrant that said, hey, we now have Weiner's computer, which was lawfully seized under warrant so-and-so, NC attached in Exhibit A, and attached the warrant that got us the computer. So now we have the computer. Now in our warrant we go, during the scope of this warrant and searching the computer for child porn, we ran across Clinton emails from our private server which contain classified information. Therefore, we believe that this computer also is engaged in this crime. We would like to search further for Clinton emails, emails of confidentiality, classified materials, secret, whatever. So then a new warrant is issued, now we can do it. The FBI did that. They got a new warrant today, Sunday, and they went and got a new warrant to search his computer for Clinton emails. Now where the tricky part is the first, I thought they got a warrant for Weiner's computer. When I was reading further in the different email or the different reports, they didn't get an email. They got a subpoena. Now, the difference between a subpoena and a warrant I explained before. A subpoena has to be issued once the crime's been filed. So if I file charges on you, I can issue subpoenas. Because subpoenas are issued by the DA's office or DA investigators or prosecutor's office, DOJ, etc. They issue subpoenas, and a subpoena is just like a warrant. It is a court order, but in order for these agencies to issue subpoenas, they have to have already had enough to charge a file. Search warrants are normally used before you have enough to charge. So if I think you committed a murder, I need to get a search warrant to search for stuff. If you're in jail for a murder and I need to go search your thing, I can get a subpoena to go search it. Same thing, same court order, same authority. It's just a little bit different. Subpoena is a little bit easier because you don't have to go through the probable cause and the judge and all the other stuff. It's just issued because you already have a crime there. So what they did on Weiner's computer is they issued a subpoena because they had already charged him with texting this girl and doing all this shit. They already had charges. There was no reason to get a warrant. So they went, you know what, let's just subpoena his computer. We'll get it through a court order and we'll search. Same thing, not a big difference. There's some minor differences, but they got a subpoena for his thing. They found Clinton emails. They should have stopped and immediately gotten a warrant. They didn't. And in the reports, it showed that later on the FBI had these meetings and all the top guys met and somebody goes, do we have a warrant for that computer? And somebody went, no, we got a subpoena. And they're like, shit, a subpoena is issued for a specific crime on Weiner. We can't search his computer. Well, shit, we better get a warrant. No shit, Sherlock. I don't know who your investigators are or who's freaking running your place. Obviously, Comey don't know what the hell to train his people because any idiot knows who's doing an investigation. Well, you can't go searching for shit that's not connected to your crime. I can't. If I go in a house and I have a warrant to go search for drugs, and as soon as we walk in, there's a dead body, I can't go, shit, there's a dead body. Damn, let me search around, see if I can find the murder weapon. Let me follow these tracks. Let me go see if I can do certain minimal things to secure my area. But once I secure it, I have to go get a new warrant. Even though I have a warrant, I have to go get a new warrant to investigate this new crime. Because I'm not working drugs anymore, and the warrant was for drugs. It's a pretty simple concept, and most cops know it. Somehow, the great, wonderful FBI, greatest law enforcement agency in the land, can't figure this shit out, working the most highest profile fucking corrupt shit in a presidential election. Somehow, the FBI can't figure this shit out. It just freaking amazes me. So, let me go through one of the notes here, because I knew this was going to be long. There's a lot of shit to cover when you get into all this. Agents notified the second. Huma testified she didn't have any stored emails, so she's probably facing perjury charges or obstruction of investigation. Because she says she didn't have any other emails or no other devices. Well, she lied. Now she's going to say, and her lawyer's going to say, she misspoke. She misremembered. She didn't remember. She testified truthfully. At that time, her memory did not think of that computer. So they're going to weasel their way out of that shit. But you know what? When it's with the FBI and you obstruct their investigation, they don't have to worry about intent. They just got to know you did it. That's why I always tell you, don't talk to the FBI, because even if you make a mistake, you're going to get charged with a felony crime of obstruction if you make a mistake, so it's just better not to talk to them. Let's see here. Let's see. Was investigation closed? I already covered that. At the meeting last week, the National Security Staff and FBI realized no one got a warrant. They fixed that today. Sunday, they got a warrant. All FBI investigators from the two different investigations. You have the investigators doing the child porn. You have the investigators doing the Hillary thing. These guys got together and they go, hey, do you think these emails is pertinent to your investigation and would help your investigation? And all the investigators agree, yeah, the shit we got on this computer should be over there and you should be working it and it will help your investigation. So, and Comey, when he notified Congress, he kind of, when he testified under oath, he said, if we get any other information, I'll notify you. Now, Comey's shit's kind of weak because he knew about this shit a week ago. So what happened in the week that he knew about it and from the time he told Congress? I'll tell you what happened. He was weighing his options. How big is this? How can I prolong it? Can I hide this till after the election? What should I do? This is going to be a shitstorm. I just cleared her. Now I'm going to look stupid. Now all my employees and minions are going to turn on me and say I've obstructed the investigation. Because in these meetings, there's a lot of information that says the high-ranking officials were like telling the investigators, don't do this. I put notes in there. They told them, don't get subpoenas, don't conduct formal witness statements, and we're not going to use a grand jury. Well, what kind of investigation is that? I mean, Jesus Christ, man. That's where you're going to get your meat of your investigation. You use the powers that you can to seize them. You think somebody's going to walk in and go, I'm guilty, here's all the stuff, you can convict me. Of course not. So the upper echelon told them, you can't do any of the shit that can help your investigation, but in the interest of fooling the sheep and making people think that we're smart and we're doing an investigation, just find the little shit without any of these tools and then tell us what you got. And then Comey can run out in front of the press and go, hey man, we don't have nothing. And Comey's a freaking liar. That's right. He's the director of the FBI. I'm saying he's a freaking liar. I was an agent. I got my credentials. They got my credentials somewhere locked up. I don't give a shit. I'm telling you, they got a file on me, they got my background, I don't care. Comey, you're a freaking liar. I don't work for the FBI, and you're a freaking liar. You went up there and lied about the whole, you didn't do a good investigation, you held these guys back, you knew it was going to be bullshit, you tried to cover it up, and now you got caught, and now because you're second in command and your other investigator says, we're fucking blowing the lid off this dude, you fucking jump up and go, oh, because I'm such an ethical person, I had to tell the Congress. You're a freaking weasel. So send your punks out here and go ahead and investigate me. Let's see. All investigators agreed. Field agents wanted to do more aggressive searching and they were not allowed to. And what aggressive means, they're using aggressive and subpoena and warrant. What aggressive means is I want to use everything that was within my powers to get to the truth and to get as much evidence and to make this case as strong as I can. That's an aggressive investigation. Doesn't mean you're out there breaking arms and doing things illegally. It means I'm going to use everything within my powers in the legal system to get, such as subpoenas, such as interviewing witnesses under oath, reading them, bringing them in, doing a grand jury so I can get testimony, so I can compel them to testify. Those are things that's called an aggressive investigation. A pussy-ass pansy investigation is what Comey ordered, and like, you can't do any of that. Just ask a few people questions. I'll go out there and say we looked real good and we couldn't find anything. Comey, you suck! Oh, he's such a weasel. So anyway, hopefully you understand about subpoena, why this thing, why they're kind of playing the he said, she said. A problem's going to be is, one of the problems is going to be how much, because technically, when those agents are looking at that computer and they see Hillary Clinton, there's a fine line before they have to say, we have to stop and get another warrant. So if they continue to look and they made copies, there would be some issues. Now, federal suppression is a little bit more lenient than state suppression issues, but there would be issues on, did you do due diligence, and did you, at the time you realized there was another crime, did you stop and say, I need to go do something? Or did you keep looking and gathering? Because if they looked and gathered, they were not going to be able to use that information and a prosecution. I don't think they're looking at prosecution. This is not about prosecution. This is about getting to some level of the truth on how corrupt the Clintons are. Also, in all these meetings, all the agents were like, dude, we're not looking at the Clinton Foundation enough. There's a lot of crooked shit. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of foreign money. There's people paying to get all the higher echelon, including Comey, you piece of shit. All of them said, no, we're not looking at the Clinton Foundation. Just stay focused on these emails and get this done. Don't use subpoena, don't interview witnesses, and we're not doing a grand jury. Great investigation, Comey. Shit, you ought to be in charge of the damn FBI. Well, shit, you are. All right, we'll end that there.